that we weren't interested in that. We felt that the system that we have is appropriate. I still agree with that, but I also think that it's time to have a discussion as to whether or not we need to see if the voters agree with that. So I wanted to ask each of you in some way, shape, or form to have a discussion as to whether or not you're comfortable about, reconsidering and putting this on the ballot in November to let the electorate determine whether or not that's the appropriate direction to go. And when we're through having a discussion, I do have several speakers. Yes. Rose.
Thank you. I continue to believe that the residents of San Mateo County are best served by the at-large elections because members of the board are elected at large. Each of the 5 members is accountable and represents the interests of all of the residents of San Mateo County. And this has been critical to fostering the spirit of mutual respect and collaboration among the members of the board, thus enabling us to arrive at very difficult decisions that we actually have with an informed, practical, and countywide perspective. And my 14 years of experience as a member of the Board of Supervisors has consistently shown that most issues that are brought for the board's consideration affect all of our residents, not just a particular district. For example, we are required to make critical decisions around housing, healthcare, criminal justice, and these are issues that affect all of our residents. I am, however, sensitive to the fact that there are limited opportunities for some in our communities to run for office, which is why I support the most impactful ways to address such challenges, such as through campaign finance reform and other alternative voting systems, because I see that as being a bigger issue than actually whether it's district or at large. Perhaps it's possible for that residents may feel differently now about at-large elections than they did 30 years ago when it was last rejected by the voters. And for this reason, I am not opposed to placing it on the November ballot for our voter consideration. However, I will reiterate that I still believe that the current at-large system provides the best representation for all of San Mateo County residents.
Thank you, Rose. Any other comments by my colleagues?
I am going to support this ordinance. In fact, actually, Supervisor Kine and I once at one of the forum, you probably don't even remember, it's about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, that we just debated it, and I actually think that the current system actually works best. But, however, that being said, I also think it's the right of the people to decide how they're governed. So I'm going to support this ordinance. I think it's the right of the voters to decide whether it should be countywide election or district elections. And I will yield to Florence, my learned friend.
You do feel a little bit like a judge today and when you have these hearings. Yeah. So, I've been a long-time advocate for district elections. And I do believe that district elections will lower the barriers of entry for candidates to run credible campaigns, encourage more competitive campaigns, particularly when incumbents are on the ballot, and build stronger connections between citizens and the county government. But I appreciate that there are valid arguments to continue the at-large system. Some of those we've heard today. And I think this is definitely an issue where reasonable people can disagree. So, but given that it does raise such a fundamental question, which is, how do citizens choose their supervisors, I do support the idea of it going to the voters. And I do very much appreciate my colleagues' willingness to discuss the proposal that it do go to the voters. So I do appreciate that.
Supervisor Brewer?
Thank you, President Tissier, and I too will support the placing this on the November ballot. For me, this issue is much more about governance than elections. I do believe the county is better governed by people representing a district but being elected in an at-large basis. I think that we maintain much more engagement and much more issues, whether they're in our neighborhood or whether they're to the south of our neighborhood or to the north or to the west. I think that we do deal with so many issues that represent everyone, again, regardless of where you live, that it's kind of hard to say what's a district issue sometimes, what is not a district issue. I agree with Supervisor Rose Jacobs Gibson that campaign finance reform is an adherent to many people running, and that we should engage ourselves in that and perhaps revisit the finance reform of campaign finance in this county. But having said all of that, let's put it on the ballot and let's ask the voters to tell us what their vision is.
Thank you, Supervisor Gruen. I do have several speaker cards, so I'm gonna